Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Talk Entertainment News. Do you remember that Arachnophobia remake or sequel that we heard about a couple years ago? Well, it turns out director Christopher Landon is no longer involved, and we're going to talk about why that is in just a moment. But before we do, I just want to remind you that I do have a second YouTube channel at Brian Kunkel on YouTube. Right now, it is serving as my destination for all of my writing activities, which primarily involves haiku at the time. So if you are interested in haiku, I've written about 130 of them. I'm writing more every day, uploading them. Very simple, no interaction, just read only, but you might enjoy it. So there it is. All right then, Arachnophobia. Christopher Landon explains why his remake isn't happening. And it does sound like they're still trying to get the movie together, though, with or without him. As you may recall, it was announced back in 2022 that Christopher Landon, Happy Death Day, Freaky, Drop, and I think he was involved in Paranormal Activity as well, wasn't he? Would be directing a new take on Arachnophobia, and while it seems like Amblin and James Wan's Atomic Monster are still planning to remake the classic film, Landon reveals in a new chat that at the wrap that his take on the material has been scrapped. And having read this story already, I can definitely see why. Now knowing that Amblin was involved, there was no way that his script was ever going to get made by them. What happened? Creative differences, according to Landon. The filmmaker explains to the wrap, I wrote a script that I loved. I actually think it was one of my best, but the problem with that is that you still have to deal with other people who have different opinions about what kind of movie it should be making. This was a classic case of creative differences, and it was something that I was not willing to change. All right, so on one hand, if you're a true auteur, and you are sticking to your guns, there's some nobility to that. There's some romance into the filmmaking landscape where people stick to their guns and they don't compromise. But look at this guy's career. Not exactly Citizen Kane. Some pretty solid horror offerings that people seem to like. But more recently, he was let go from Scream. So that's one big franchise he lost out on. Probably would have been his biggest film yet. And then here he is not getting on with Arachnophobia. And I think that's probably going to be a regrettable instance in his case. But we're going to read a little bit longer here. Everybody moved on, and that was just the way it went. But at the very least, it was a calm separation. Lando continued, onto divulge some details about the remake plans. Okay, so this is why this film was never going to happen with him. West Texas town with a brutal body horror approach to the material that would have seen the villainous spiders laying eggs inside human bodies. Gross. Landon also notes that the town would be in the midst of a mayoral race when all hell breaks loose due to the spider invasion. So yeah, that was never going to happen. On one hand, thanks to the substance, body horror is a little bit more in style right now, but Atomic Monster and Alien, I don't think so. No, not a chance. Landon notes in the interview that with the rep that I wrote something I felt was very plot driven. I had much bigger set pieces than the original. It was definitely a more expensive movie. That was another thing that I think that made everybody a little bit nervous. Yeah, but there's room to play with that. I'm thinking this really comes down to the direction of the script. I think looking at his filmography, it looks like he's actually probably got more screenwriting credits than he does directing credits. So I guess perhaps you could say that writing is his strong suit. But yeah, stay tuned for more on Amblin and Atomic Monsters Arachnophobia remake, which will still happen if Christopher Landon's concept has been abandoned at this time. Jeff Daniels starred in the original in 1990. Also had John Goodman, who was freaking awesome as the Exterminator. But there you have it. What do you think? Is this a loss for the film or not? I'm kind of split, I wish this guy well, but, he's had some moments. I think that not getting Scream and not getting this, I think those are possibly two big breaks that could have changed the trajectory of his career, put it on a different level. But alas, he's going to be waiting for another big break, I would say, in the future. I'm just going to jump over really quickly. I'm not going to show it to you. I won't bring it up on OBS, but just to look at his writing credits. His first, or his, not writing credits, but his film credits. His first credit is Another Day in Paradise in 1998. But then we see films like Boy's Life 3, writer, Blood and Chocolate, writer, Disturbia, writer. I really like Disturbia. Dirty Sexy Money, writer. First directing credit, Burning Palms, which he also wrote. Along with then, he wrote Paranormal Activity 2, 3, and 4. as well as the marked ones. I'm going to skip over a few. 2017, Happy Death Day. A lot of people really seem to like that film. I think that has a bit of a cult following. And of course, they did Happy Death Day 2, which he also directed. Freaky, Paranormal Activity, once again, as a writer. My Best Friend's Exorcism as producer. Time Cut, Heart Eyes as writer. That was a recent sort of cult hit. On a low level. And then apparently he did direct Drop, which is not one of his writing credits, but that is that in theaters right now? Did that just come out? Scheduled to be released in the United States by Universal Pictures on April 11th, which is tomorrow. So yeah, I thought it was out because I think someone I was watching on YouTube had actually seen it already. But there you have it. Christopher Landon, not involved with Arachnophobia anymore. What do you think? I like the original. It's a great film. It's fun. It's charming, a little bit creepy. He would obviously have taken it in a very different direction, which I'm sure really turned off Amblin and Atomic Monster. I would like to see both, really. I think I would love to see a more serious Arachnophobia, but also I would hate to sacrifice all the charm of the original. So there you have it. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section below, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, and keep it creepy.